Okay, look, after having a chance to go back and watch the tape, start off defensively, I felt like it was a tale of two halves. I don't think we played very well in the first half of the game, and I thought we came back out and executed a lot better in the second half and, gave ourselves a chance. I feel like offensively, I think we moved the football. We did some good things. And yet we weren't able to capitalize and finish on drives and score touchdowns down there in the red area. That's something that has to improve. And look, I thought, there's a lot of good things we did in the kicking game, and yet I think 2 field goals really kind of changed the outcome of the game. You're playing the game differently at the end of the game if you're, able to convert on one of those. So. Certainly, there's some things that we've got to be better at, and we're going to work hard to improve on those things.
How do you guys get better in the red zone? Like, what are you?
Yeah, look, I think it boils down to our ability to be able to execute, and by execution, I mean, like, if we're getting to a certain check or getting to a certain play, making sure everybody understands exactly what they're all supposed to be doing so that we can go out and actually perform that job the proper way on the field. And that's a combination, of, we've got to do a better job of coaching it, and we've got to do a better job of playing it.
It sounds like a bigger issue this week than normally. It seemed like there was just
no. That's kind of been a little bit of our issue. I do feel like we've been able to move the ball effectively at times this season, and yet whether it be by a penalty, a negative yardage play, we don't run a proper route. There's something that happens that keeps us from being able to score touchdowns down there, and that has to be cleaned up. It has to be better.
Are you saying like there's communication issues with them too? Did I?
Well, there was a couple, in the game yesterday that I felt like had opportunities for us. We had a miscommunication on the run play there on third down that I think has a chance to convert to a first down anyway and give us some more downs down there. So, yeah, there was a few of those in the game, yeah.
From the outside, I guess it's easy to look at it and think scoring down there is easier because you're closer. But the reality is that there are challenges having small.
Yeah, the space is confined down there, and that's why, like, I won't get into what my saying is down there, but yet, everything happens faster in the red zone, and so you can't be, a yard off. You can't be on the edge of a block. Now, this is offensively and defensively. This is not specifically to the offense. Whether you're defending the red area or you're trying to score in the red area, like the little bitty details matter. And because if you're off by just a little bit, on defense it ends up being touchdowns, and offensively it keeps you from scoring touchdowns.
But towards the offense itself, how do you present a higher standard where it's like defense only gives it 20 points, we have to be of a more complimentary side of the football?
Yeah, we do. And look, obviously this is a team game. And all of us take part in a loss, and all of us take part in a win. All we can do is just go back to work and continue to grind at it. And I just believe eventually that's gonna turn around for us. We keep trying to see what we can do better, really on both sides of the ball. So. We had a couple opportunities to stop them down in the red area, and weren't able to do that on a couple of occasions. So I felt like that was a big difference in the game.
When you do that, like a receiver running the wrong route or the quarterback and the receiver not on the same page, like what is the process for getting that right? Like how do you guys coach that?
Yeah, well, I think it goes some of it is we got to make sure that the player, like from a coaching standpoint, we got to make sure that the player understands exactly what the potential. Look, every play that you go into a game offensively, I mean, there's very few plays that are just, here's the play call and this is what we're doing, no matter what the defense does. Most of them have some sort of potential check, adjustment based on, what the defense is doing. And so I think that communication has to be better. I think we've got to work on that with coaching staff. I think the quarterbacks and the receivers have to do a better job of making sure they're on the same page. But until we do that, we're going to continue to struggle down there in the red area. So that's got to get cleaned up.
The decision to kick Caesar out to right tackle, was that kind of the plan going in? If Ryan went down, he would be together?
No, that was the plan after we had a couple of injuries. That's part of our game that we're playing in. Andrus was kind of down with the groin injury that he got. I guess it was maybe the last play of practice on Thursday, and so we had to adjust our plan a little bit there, and we had him up in case of an emergency, and so he would have been the 8th offensive lineman. He'd have been the next one to go in the game.
Dennis, what's your confidence level with Blake Grupe right now?
Yeah, look, my confidence level is still good on him. I mean, the 52-yarder, look, I thought he hit a good ball. It leaked a little bit right. The short one, that can't happen. Just the week before, he kicked 2 50-plus yard field goals and was a NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. So, he understands that he has to be better in that situation, and I believe he will be.
What's been your assessment of the offensive play calling in the red zone?
Look, when you're not scoring down there, okay, there's a lot of factors that go into that. Can we call better play calls? Yeah, we probably can. And yet, I think if we execute some of the play calls that are called, I think we might see some better results. So I don't think anybody can pinpoint that to one particular area and say that's the issue, that's the problem. I think we're all involved in that, and I think all of us have to take ownership in that.
Dennis, some of your players after the game kind of alluded to, people not taking care of details, some of the other players. Do you think that's just the frustration of losing a game, the emotions of that, or do you think there's something?
Well, no. There's obviously some emotions that go into that, and yet when you go back and you watch the tape, there's some details that don't get executed that cost us either the ability to either convert a third down, score in the red area, keep somebody from scoring in the red area. There were some details there that have to be better. And look, quite frankly, we have to do a better job of coaching in those areas because, just like I was just talking about, play calling. It's not when we say execution, we're not just saying the players have to do better. That's not at all what we're saying. We got to do a better job of coaching it because I think we have guys that want to do it right. And so, if they're not, then we got to look at, is the volume too much? Are we asking too much of a particular player? Are we coaching it the right way? And if we feel like we're doing all those things and we're still not getting the execution that we need, then, maybe it needs to be a different person doing that job. So I think we got to look at all those things.
Is there too much pressure on the defense to be perfect? They talked as if they had such a failure during the game. First half wasn't good, but they only gave up 20 points. Is there too much pressure for them to?
I think you can hold yourself to a standard. All right, and when you watch the first half, that's not the standard of football that we want to play defensively. So take all the other BS out of it. That's not the standard that we want to play at, and that's why I say this is a team game. We put ourselves in a hole that we couldn't climb out of, and we have to be better than that.
You said you feel like you guys can grind your way to where you need to be on offense. What are the things you're seeing that give you the confidence
Well, look, I mean, we had 430 yards of offense in the game, so there were some good things that we did in the game. And yet, when you kind of look at the season, there's been games where we've moved the ball, and we haven't been good enough in the red area. I looked defensively. There was a couple years ago, a few years back, we weren't playing very good red zone defense, and we grinded our way through it and figured it out. And then, we've been one of the better red zone defenses the last couple of years. So, I have all the confidence in the world that we'll put our thoughts together and put together a good plan, and we'll get better in that area. Now, do we have to look at what we're doing? Maybe how we're practicing it? There's a lot of things that go into that. But yeah, I think we will get better at that.
Is there ever an easy fix to things like this, like the example you just described?
No, it's hard work. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. It took a while. And look, honestly, part of that was me. I thought we were doing too much in the red zone defensively. Kind of scaled back a little bit in terms of what we did. And then we got really good at the things that we were doing. So we started practicing a little bit of that on Thursday. So got to identify issues and figure out how we're going to fix them.
Do you have a better chance of improving when you have veteran players who will stand up after a game and say, we have to be accountable, and it's not just on the coaches, it's on us? Is that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's the nature of pro football. I do think we have a veteran group that understands that, we all have a part in this, coaches and players. I think our coaches understand that. I think our players understand that. I think collectively as a group we need to be better. And so we're going to continue to, work until we get it right.
Initial thoughts on Jacksonville?
I think it's a really good football team. I think they have done a really good job defensively of taking the ball away. I think they lead the league in takeaways. I think they're a tough physical group on defense. I think offensively, I think it's as good a skill group as we'll see, all season. From the runner to the tight ends to the receivers. Quarterback, I think, is a really good player. He's athletic, can make all the throws. I think they're explosive on offense. They're one of the better explosive play offenses that we'll see. I think it's a really good football team that we're playing.
What kind of challenge do you have with your O-line this week, considering?
Yeah, we'll see exactly where we're at. I mean, obviously, Ryan had the concussion in the game, and Hurst had a foot, so kind of see how that plays out throughout the week. And if they're unable to go, then obviously some other guys are going to have to step up. And I think saw that a little bit last night in the Giant game, and they're playing with a backup quarterback, a lot of offensive linemen down, and they had to go in and try to find a way to give themselves a chance to win the game. And I thought they did a good job of kind of putting themselves at least in a position to win against a good Buffalo team.
That's the third offensive line with a concussion so far. Is that just something you chalk up to bad luck, or do you start looking at, are we doing something technique-wise that might?
Yeah, I haven't gone into exactly the technique and seeing if that's part of it. It's a violent game that we play. That's part of the game that we play. So certainly we want to try to minimize those as much as we can.
What do you have to do this week, I guess, to kind of get these guys' bodies back? It's a short week, compressed week, obviously.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of mental, a lot of walkthrough, and a lot of time spent, in recovery, in the training room, doing all the different things that we have. We've invested a ton of money into a lot of, recovery equipment, and so, our guys are going to have to do a really good job of taking care of their bodies this week, and the preparation this week will be more of a mental nature than it will be of a physical nature in terms of what we do on the field. But yeah, I think that's always the challenge on a Thursday night game is trying to get him, you know, after playing a tough game, trying to get a guy, get his body back ready to go.
Do you have any update on her specifically?
Nothing other than it's basically kind of the same, you know, foot injury that he had, you know, previously that he sustained in practice, and you know, was able to play through it 2 weeks ago. Okay, guys, thanks.